Well, alright friends, there's only one thing left to do, and I am going to apologize in advance because I have a lot of things to say about the Impossible Lair, and none of them are good. Not one. I'm very sorry for what you are about to hear for the next 30 minutes.
Maybe if you'd gotten the last 5 Bs, it would be better? No, probably not.
I'll leave that to your judgment. So, okay. The Impossible Lair is broken up into 4 platforming sections, each of which is preceded by a capital B fight. Capital B himself being, you know, a really blatant King K. Rool fight. Although it will get considerably more complex as we go. For now, I just want you to note the fact that yes, this is forced before every single attempt at a section you make.
Oh no.
So yeah, like the checkpoint is before the fight, not after. Which is probably for the better, given the nature of everything, but yeah. Yeah, let's just jump right into it, shall we? So, okay, I like the concept of the Impossible Lair. That they sat down and they were like, okay, we've been giving you all these Bs throughout the whole game, here's this one super bullshit hard level that you're gonna need every single one of them for. And we're just gonna fill it full of the most punishing and demanding level design we've got. And it's like, okay, that works. That's a cool idea. I'm down with that. So they sat down, and they made 4 of them. And then they were like, okay, so which one do we want to use for the final level? And then somebody at the table was like, what if we just used all of them?
Yeah, like, a lot of this, well, it's kind of crazy that, like, that 40-something hits is not enough well, it obviously is, but, you know. It's crazy that many hits could be...
Yeah, like, I mean, if you were really so inclined, you could technically finish this your very first time in it. You don't need any Bs at all if you're really good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so what you are watching is stitched together from about 4 attempts at this game. Like, 5 recorded attempts with about 5 or 6 more for optimization in between. So, altogether, I think the final total was like 9 or 10. But yeah, each of these sections are not particularly clean, because I think it's fair to show you what this actually looks like to play. I mean, as you can see, we started with 43 Bs. We have already lost almost 10 of them, and we are not at the 1/4 mark.
There's a lot of awkward-looking, setups I'm noticing. I almost think that it's, like, if this were Kaizo, you'd have the one hit, but you'd also have the quick retry. Basically, some of this... This is not to imply that you're bad at it, obviously. But I'm thinking to myself that, like, the fact that you can quick retry at any given... Well, you don't die, basically. Means that you are inclined to be more careless. I've seen this through people playing. Like, when you have as many hits as this, like, oh, you don't stop and think, oh, what's this one hit that I've lost right now gonna truly mean? You know?
Oh, don't worry. You're gonna see some of that. You're gonna see that a lot. Because part of the problem, I think, with the way the Impossible Lair is designed, is that mistakes are always cumulative. Like that, right there. I fucked up my timing, so I hit the saw blade. But because I hit the saw blade, I also went through the barrel and didn't hit it, so I fell into the pit as well. So that's 2 Bs for 1 mistake. In extreme cases, you can very easily lose 3, 4, maybe even 5 from 1 single fuck-up.
Not to mention, in Kaizo levels, which this very clearly has like an inspiration. I see what you mean. Yeah. It clearly has like some inspiration from, in a sense, just because of, you know, the hardest platforming.
Oh yeah, no, this is absolutely, if not directly inspired by Kaizo, it is absolutely trying to live in that same kind of design sphere.
The problem is, Kaizo does not... It tends to not last that long. That was a long segment, and we've also established that this game is more methodical in its platforming. It is a bit slower.
Should also notice that Capital B has a lot more hits this time around. His first time he had 3, this time I think he has...
like 9?
7? It's somewhere in that general area.
So he's got his own bees.
Yes. Yeah, the fight does not end until you actually hit him.
Now, the thing that I have to ask is, at the end, do you still have Laylee if you don't have the bees?
Yes.
So you do have your forever hit, if you can catch her again.
Yes, but with the caveat that yes, with 2 caveats. 1, the general style of platforming in the Impossible Lair usually does not allow you to catch her.
Yeah.
As you saw in that section. If we had actually lost Laylee, it would have been almost impossible to get her back.
Yeah.
More importantly, you can say this is, it's full of bottomless pits. And if you fall into a pit when you do not have bees, that's it. You're done. Game over.
Yeah. The length of these areas is, I think, the big thing. The length and difficulty. Kaizo has generally learned to make its areas short and its checkpoints frequent unless you are specifically making some sort of endurance challenge, but like those are not usually super fun, so people try not to make them too much.
Like I said, it's all about length. Like, it really is. Like, at the end of the day, I would be a lot less hard on this if it was only 2 of the 4 sections. Or, for that matter, if the sections themselves... Like, if the sections were shorter.
I see we have just shifted over to a version where we have more bees.
Oh, we have substantially more bees on this run.
But yeah. Like, a lot of these ideas in here are really kind of neat. Like, climbing that rope with the dudes circling around you gives me some, like, Confused Cliffs vibes. It's just all of these back-to-back on top of each other.
It's all of these back-to-back on the same health bar. That is what really kills this for me.
I mean, I suppose one way you can think about it is, like, the bees allow you to, like, learn a setup and learn where to not get hit at something, but, like, the problem is also that clearly the bees are... Well, you've also said, like, if you lose them all, you have to start the whole thing over. So there is no easy practice if you do lose the fight, or, like, any of it.
Yeah, you are stuck with whatever number of bees. When you finish a section, right, that's when you get checkpointed. So every time you try a section, you are stuck with however many bees you have. Let's just say, whatever your best bee count was going into the capital B fight before that section.
Yeah.
So if you got to part 3 and you have 15 bees left, like, that's it. You can only even if you play absolutely perfectly in that section, you're going into section 3 with 15 bees at max.
I mean, I kind of expect that. Like, that makes sense. Like, you're checkpointing. But it also means that it's like save stating in a bad place. You know? So, like, going in with a little amount of health ends up being real bad because, well, shit, now I don't have enough, I can't get any more back, and so I have to deal with what I have.
That is, for the record, what I eventually did. By the time we get to section 4, I have, like, 4 bees left, and I'm just like, I am not doing this garbage a third fucking time. So I just made it work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, I don't think it's, like, badly designed in that sense, because, yeah, like, that is a sensible way to checkpoint that sort of thing. I just really wish that the checkpoints were after the fight and not before it, because, like... And also, why are there 4 fights to begin with? Who the fuck looked at the way you play the capital B fights and was like, you know what they're gonna love? They're gonna love doing this shit 4 fucking times.
Well, there weren't any other boss fights in the game. So you had to put them all at the end. Obviously. I think the biggest thing to point out is I think a lot of these platforming setups are pretty cool, pretty well designed. It's just stringing them all back to back. That's where it's iffy. That's a lot to ask of the player. And the game up to this point hasn't really prepared you for it. At least not of this length and... What are the balloons?
The balloons is an indicator for the farthest that I had previously gotten on my last life. So like, technically, at least as far as this recording, this particular run is concerned, everything after that balloon is new. And I was doing it essentially blind.
Oh god. Some of this is, quite a lot.
Also, reminder that there are no tonics in this part of the game. That's another thing that they take away from you. So if you were using any of the gameplay enhancement ones to give you, say, more iframes or, you know, running faster or whatever like that, nope, it's all gone. A whole gameplay mechanic that they've allowed you to basically mix and match the whole game, and now in the final level, where it would be the most useful, they go, you know what? No, actually, fuck you.
What was the, when you got to the end of the first section, there were 3 doors. Did that just allow you to choose your next area?
No, it's completely pointless as far as I can tell. They all go to the same section.
Odd. Oh, so you can let those hit him, huh? They can just run right into him.
Yeah, if he decides to come to the ground, that is an option. But I absolutely fucking hate those bombs. That is far and away my least favorite thing that he does.
Well, I don't like that where he fakes out. Oh, did we warp to a point with more bees partway through?
Yeah, we did. Well, yeah, before in between the sections, we did cut to another run.
These fights don't look too bad overall, but I get the feeling that it's just like, dang, like after all this time, nerves are shot. Just like tired and yeah. And I suppose you're right. It is probably for the best that you do the fight like not after the long platforming section. But you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. They should just do it they should put a checkpoint down after each one, I would say.
Or hear me out.
Not have this many.
They could have had one fight at the very beginning, like they do. That's short, sweet, and he's like, I'll be back, I'll get you again. And then they could just have you do the whole Impossible Lair until you reach the very end when you have the final boss fight.
Mm-hmm. They could have done a big old Donkey Kong Country 3 K. Rool Castle fight type thing. You know, multiple phases, that sort of idea.
Yeah, like, the second and third fights with capital B absolutely did not need to exist.
So wait, is this the final section, or is this...
This is section 3. There is another fight and another section after this.
Before the final boss?
No, the final boss... So it will be this section, then the final boss, then another section.
Wait, but why do we need a fourth section after you've beaten the final boss?
Isn't that a great question?
Well, now I'm concerned. These conveyors look kind of neat, like some actual fast platforming for once. It's not super methodical. I think platforming ends up being really good when you can kind of enter that flow state of like moving. Kaizo kind of excels at it. Because you get these points where you have that flow state, it's just you keep moving. And the longer you sit around in an area, the worse it gets. You think about what you're doing for too long, essentially. I don't know, I've come to really appreciate Kaizo design a little bit more as I've just played a few things and watched a lot. Oh, shit.
I really appreciated that one. I thought it was great that I got on the ledge and then fell, and the game was like, oh, obviously that means you need to go back and do this section again.
I was getting updates from Martix as he was going through the Impossible Lair. It was just me being kind of horrified on Discord about what he was having to go through and the length of time that he was spending on it. Back to the start with you.
This is just really frustrating because, I mean, like I said, I do broadly like this game. I think it's a good platformer, and I think it does a lot of things really well. And the Impossible Lair is basically everything this game does really poorly, as much and as hard as possible.
I think the phrase is basically just, it's too much.
Which, you know, I suppose, funnily enough, that was always the same problem Rare had. Lest we forget Donkey Kong Country 3, or DK64, or Banjo-Tooie, or... God, Jet Force Gemini is probably another one that we would throw on that bunch.
I never played that one. Actually, I think I played it a tiny bit, but I never owned it.
Jet Force Gemini is really weird, but it's like a shooter platformer collectathon in which getting 100% was mandatory.
I think I always wanted to give it a shot, but it was just, I never had it. I don't know if it was ever available for rental at Blockbuster.
But yeah, so here we go. This is Capital B, for real this time. He has all of the same attacks. They come out faster or do more. Like his little orb thing is an 8-way now instead of a 4-way.
And that green orb comes way faster. Also, I noticed the conveyors.
Yes, now the floor moves?
Very K-Rool sub of him. I wonder if Jet Force Gemini emulates well. It's the N64, so probably no, but
I was gonna say, does anything on the N64 emulate well? I posit no.
Yeah, I was about to say Ocarina of Time, but then I remembered the start of Master of Time where our shield would randomly go black and get the picture of whatever decided to pull from the status screen. Which was great. So I noticed not only is he ostensibly a harder fight, he also seems to be a slower fight in this final bit. Because he's got longer attacks. But at the same time, he doesn't really seem like he's any harder.
He's not? Other than a couple attacks that really suck, like this one where he did...
The double.
He does a triple at one point.
Ah.
The triple is the worst.
But he doesn't even seem like he's doing the fake out anymore. Which is good. That attack seems very bad. Oh, this is new. Oh, good. You can just hit him with it.
Yeah, it is a little convenient in how it can be manipulated, but Yeah, this is great. This is just fantastic. I love the seeking missiles.
Yeah, the seeking missiles are... Oh, hang on. Oh. Oh, so they're just gonna come down random... Oh no, they seem to come down when you... Oh, wait, what?
Ah, see, we have the hive mind now, so we're going to,
Oh, you control him?
We're helpfully directing Capital B to some of his own Soul Blades.
You just killed a man. Oh, that's why we're on a 4th platforming segment. Are we on a timer, too? Oh shit, I was joking.
So, I will leave you to guess what happens if you were to die or otherwise fail in the escape sequence.
Oh no. Ardix, how many times did you have to fight him again?
Only once. Only once.
Okay. Darn platformers, if only we could just go into the background. Also, yeah, I see why you'd need Laylee here. But this is kind of... This section actually looks pretty fun overall.
Oh yeah, this section is really cool. Like, I had a lot of fun doing this.
And that's kind of what I was getting at earlier, where, like, Kaizo... that forces you to move, forces you to go fast, forces you to not really think that much about what you're doing and just react. That can be really interesting. Because you enter that flow state of like, oh man, what am I even doing? I don't know how I even survived. And, like, that's when I think this kind of difficult platforming is this, like, the strongest. Just... you just have to react to things, go quickly. Yeah. Hooray!
So there you go, that's the Impossible Lair, all roughly 29 fucking minutes of it.
I don't even remember what the plot of the game was, I'm sorry, it's been too long.
We were helping... So, I guess Capital B invaded the Royal Stingdom and took over with the Hive Mind, so now we're, So we got enlisted to come help Queen Phoebe here.
Okay. Good enough. Well, overall, the game seemed about 80% pretty good, and then maybe 20% not amazing.
I'm sorry, did you just talk over the big plot twist that Queen Phoebe is also a member of Vile and that Capital B was her brother?
Nice capture.
Thanks.
I mean, they're both bees. It's a video game. I figured they were probably related. I don't remember what Vile is.
I don't really either. Some kind of, like, League of Villains or some shit like that.
All I remember is when they were originally pitching the Yooka-Laylee, they had come up with the idea that they were going to make a suite of characters that they could all put in their own games, essentially. They haven't done that yet. But, like, I guess they were setting up for some sort of Platonic extended universe. Well, I guess that on that bombshell, they will. That's the stinger.
I hate you. This call is over. Goodbye.
I know. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
But yeah. So this has been Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. It, as mentioned, it is a good game. It really is. There's so few games out there that really seriously try to capture that tropical freeze vibe, and I think this game does do a really good job of that. It
goes a little too far at the end.
Man, it's like when this game is, because I think you said it best. Like when this game is good, this game is really good. It's good in a way that a lot of games that attempt this sort of thing don't understand. But when it's bad, whew, it's bad.
Yeah. But, I mean, their second game was better than the first, so maybe the third will be even better, whatever direction they decide to take their characters. I mean, it's been already a little while since this game's come out, so, maybe we'll see.
It's been about 2 years since this came out. Surely that's enough time for them to put together the minecart racing game.
Oh, hell yeah. Give me a whole World 4. World 4 Donkey Kong Country Returns, the game. That's all I need. I'm out of here.